Next stage also, the Messiah coming. For I'm not worthy to remove his sandals. Hello everyone. Well, today I'm going to do a video that may shock a lot of people. For others, it might be of great interest. My hair okay? I'm insecure. I've been trying to get subscribers, likes, follows from another channel that I have that is dedicated to my past, but unfortunately is not doing too well. So I decided to, well, integrate that other channel with the Wandering Troubadour, because a lot of the issues I have now, meaning issues as in my mental health, why I'm moving into looking for a trailer, why I want to get out of this apartment, why I struggle with anxiety, depression, and so forth, the music that I'm doing, why is that important, the meaning that it has for me, and it's all related to my past. It is a very difficult subject to talk about because I've been traumatized. So without further ado, you guys, I hope you stick around and watch the remainder of this video. And here we go. Well, good morning, my friends. I am right here. Can you see that? That is the little nookie that the smokers hang out in. Anyways, I'm here in the apartment. I came back because I have to, I'm waiting for FedEx. I'm supposed to take all of this stuff inside because I'm gonna stay here for a few days. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe all the way until Sunday. Man, I didn't realize how much stuff I gotta take back in. I even took everything out of the freezer, the refrigerator. I've got 2 bags outside full of food. So I was just sitting here watching, listening to the fight going on right there. And I said, do you want to come back to this? Is this what you want to come back to? I just parked here under a tree. It's a beautiful, beautiful area here. Anyways, I'll stop complaining. Last night I had a really hard time thinking about moving out, giving a 30-day notice. And I talked to ChatGPT about it and on. I mean, that thing's a very powerful communicator. I even prayed about it and I cried thinking, why did my life have to be this way? And when I talk about that, when I say that, it's about my past. I don't know, maybe it's a good time right now to mention that I may start bringing up my past, and I may start bringing up topics that you might find disturbing and may turn you off. You may not want to watch me again. Something happened to me in 2013. I'm not going to go into a bunch of details. I was supposed to talk about it on a YouTube channel of this guy who's followed by millions of people, millions. But the guy wanted to offer me $100 miserable, and that guy makes a shitload of money on his YouTube channel. Maybe I'm not negotiating. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to ask him, you know what, I'd like at least maybe $500 and start from there, or $400, even $300 would be nice. So anyway, something happened to me in 2013, and it's regarding a partial inheritance that I received. I lived 20 years as a whole different person. You wouldn't recognize me at all if I showed you a photograph. And I was also a chronic meth addict, with my second drug of choice being crack cocaine. Again, this was before 2013. I did relapse very briefly, and I mean really briefly, during the first 2 years, maybe 3 years, I think. But since then, I have been off of everything. And unfortunately, things did not turn out the way I was expecting. When I was that other person, how many years now? About 12 years ago, during the 20 years that I lived as a different person, I had a lot of friends. Well, they weren't even friends, they were acquaintances. They were all drug buddies, sex buddies, customers. I had a lot of human connection. And I mean a tremendous amount of human connection. And I had to stop that life because of the drug addiction. I knew that I was either going to die or I was going to do some very serious prison time with felonies and who knows what. Every time I got arrested, it was always like a slap in the hand, and I would get away with it. I would be driving around with loads of bags of meth, crack pipe. At one time, I carried a little folding case about this big with about 10 syringes, all nice and neat, like a cigarette case, you know when you open it and they're all with an elastic band and you just pull one out like that. And they were all full, ready to, and you don't know how many times I walked out of a porn theater driving back home so wasted. All I thought about is about getting back home so I can do some more. But you were like this, driving. Am I okay? Am I okay? I'm not veering to my right or to my left. I'm driving straight. I'm talking to myself. Oh, I can't wait to get back home. Man, am I in need of another hit? You just got to get back home. You just got to get back home safely. Drive safely. Pay attention. The whole freaking time. And then once you got back home, you would be like, whoa, I made it. Where's my pipe? My father was dying, and I said, well, maybe this is the time that I need to change. And then I started to realize that the identity that I picked, that I lived with for 20 years, was a mistake. It was a big mistake. And the interesting thing is that now, well, about 5 years ago, I began to do a study of my life, because I was doing an autobiography, a self-autobiography that I started, and I have a lot of pages written out. But it's amazing how in between those certain periods of your life that you remember, more come out, more memories come out that you had forgotten. So when I was going to do this interview for this YouTube channel, I wanted to have like a layout of how my past began. When it was time to talk about how I transitioned to that other person, I began to remember how it happened and the way it happened. And again, I am going to go to exactly what that transition became, but I don't want to go into it right now. I'm just giving you a taste. Because I believe my story is worthy of an actual autobiography, a book. And that's what I hope to accomplish when I get my trailer, where I'm living more at peace, waking up to the ocean, and hopefully this guy that's offering this place to live down in Baja is a really nice place. You know, like he says, you wake up to the ocean, you sleep with the waves. He can hear the waves from his house, he says. Just think, me being in a trailer, decorating it the way I want to, listening to the waves at night with the windows open, and just typing away an autobiography, instead of waking up to an apartment where you never know when someone's gonna be screaming for help because some dude is beating her up, and the police is pounding and pounding and pounding on the door, and there's like 50 cops outside the parking lot. That's happened. Or the paramedics are here because somebody overdosed. Several people have died already. That's happened here. And the list goes on and on and on. So anyway, so when I was remembering how that transition from being a 24-year-old, naive, long-haired kid, because I'm going to call myself a kid, when I was 24 years old, I was very naive. I was very vulnerable to whatever was presented to me. When I met this girl, when I was 20 years old, I was pursuing a heavy metal music career in Hollywood. My first job was at Popeyes, right smack on Hollywood Boulevard. I was so freaking proud of that day, man, when I got that job, because I was right in the heart of the beating heart of of music, heavy metal music. It's nothing like it was before, though. It ain't nothing now. It's a garbage now. But back then, ooh man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Anyway, so what happened is that I was with this girl that I met at the Troubadour Club, and I was supposed to be there to listen to this band called, I think they were called either Widowmaker. I don't remember. They might have been Widowmaker. I don't remember. And they said, yeah, dude, because I was auditioning. I wanted to audition for their band. And they said, why don't you come see us and check us out? And if you like us, why don't you come say hi after the show? And get together. I said, okay, cool. So when I was over there, man, I was just focused on this band. So anyway, so I met this girl there. She was 20 years older than I was. She became my girlfriend. And then we moved in together. And I thought I had hit the jackpot when it came to sex, because she had told me she had been with the Hells Angels and was a hippie, caught the tail end of the hippies. And I thought, man, I hit the jackpot. I got a 20-year-old girl, man, that knows that's gonna fuck my brains out. Yee! She was a wonderful, good-hearted, beautiful soul. Very, very nice lady. But unfortunately, when the sex came, I was getting extremely frustrated because it was nothing like I expected. And I was like, what the hell, man? You've been with the Hells Angels, you were screwing this person, that. I'm like, you should be a nympho. And teaching me things, Wrong. So one day, something happened at the city college because I was learning how to develop photographs, and there was this Russian girl who was always pestering me, this 18-year-old Russian girl, and I don't know how she found my home address, but she went to the apartment and said, "Is Damien here?" And guess who opened the door? My girlfriend. So the girl says, "I'm his girlfriend." So my girlfriend, it got to be like a huge fight. So I left the apartment and I went looking for a place to sleep at night at Hollywood. And I ended up in this corner at night. And that's where I met the devil. I tell you guys, I have so much to talk about. That night is when my life changed. I ran into this intersection of Santa Monica and La Brea. And I had no idea what was going on there. I didn't know anything about what was going on there. Until that night, I saw all of these girls prostituting. I didn't know that that's what they were doing until later I caught on. And they were prostituting, and man, did they look good. But then I realized, wait a minute, that one looks funny. Why is that one walking kind of weird? Why does that one not look exactly like a woman? Ah. And that's where the story begins. So maybe now you're getting the idea of what I'm going to be talking about. Anyway, so I found out what they were, and I'll go into what happened that night little by little, I guess. And because it goes on and on and on and on and on. Because that night, something happened. And I'll just put it this way. I was so naive. I was such an innocent person back then. I was fresh meat for the world. I didn't know nothing about the world. All I knew is that I left home at a very, very young age, maybe 19, I think it was. And I didn't know nothing about the world except my friends in the neighborhood. And we would all skateboard and in ramps and half pipes, and that's all I knew. And then little by little I began to pursue music, and then I said, I'm going to be a rock star. So I learned how to play guitar for many years, and then all of a sudden I felt like I was good enough to leave my home and move to Hollywood. I had a Custom Hiwatt 100-watt amp. I threw it in the back of my yellow Camaro, which I'll show you pictures later. And I threw it in the back, loaded it, filled it up with gas, and I think I had like $20 left, and I made it to Hollywood. But I didn't know nothing about what life was like outside of my neighborhood. And this is why I was so naive, innocent, because I experienced a lot and it was exciting. I would see Capitol Records all the time, and I'm gonna be in there one day. Anyways, hopefully you'll hang on and you'll still stick around and be supportive, be kind if you're gonna make a comment, be non-judgmental, because honestly at this point, if I start disclosing everything about my past in my adventures as the Wandering Troubadour, it really doesn't matter who makes a negative comment. First of all, I don't fucking know anybody. There is one person that I've seen a couple of times, and I've met him several times. He's been a very, very nice man. He's brought like a bunch of avocados, man. They're fucking great. The guy was really nice enough to help me check my tire. The brake has given me tools, some jacks for when I get a trailer. And he's the only person that I've run into, but I've only run into him several times. I think he's strong enough to have an open mind. But for everybody else, I don't fucking know you. I honestly should not even really give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about me, because first of all, I don't even know you. I don't know anybody except that person I'm telling you about. The lady that was my girlfriend that I'm telling you about, I still talk to her, but she's just a friend. A so-so friend that I talk to every once in a while. And I mean every once in a while. And that's really it, you guys. That's the only communication I have with humans. I might sometimes get on Narcotics Anonymous, Zoom, 24-hour Zoom meetings. I have my aunt that I just started to talk to, but I only talk to her like maybe every 2 months maybe. And that's about it, you guys. That's all the communication I have. I mean, there's people that live here, but I don't really want to associate with that kind of people. I've already talked about the kind of people that live here. They came from backgrounds from a lot of homeless, drug addiction, and they just threw them in here. No questions asked. Addiction all the time. All the time in this building, in the parking lot, in the smoking section that I just showed you. All the time. I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be around that. Turning 59 years old, you guys, on March 31st. 59 years old on March 31st. And I believe I deserve a better life. I believe I deserve a stress-free, as much as possible, life. Thanks for watching, you guys. Hope you stick around. Bye.
Put a smile on most lost everything. Not even love to care for you. Not even love to keep on more.